Okay, welcome to the SLT Podcast. It's myself here, Ziggy Moore from More Education, and we have an amazing guest on, and I'm really pleased to have him on. I think we first met at the Festival of Education.
We did. Many
2019.
I think 2019,
yeah,
pre-COVID.
just before COVID, yeah. And I remember because it was me, yourself, and what's his name again? Who wrote the 2021?
The nasty man.
You hotted him up. You with me? You hotted him up. His name will come to me. I can see his face.
I don't want to say anything now because it will make clickbait, but I know his name. I'll tell you after.
Tell me. Remind me, man.
Tony Sewell.
That's who it is.
I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know what was going on.
Tony Sewell. Yeah. Do you know what? I agree with some of his things, disagree with some of his things, but I like the way you dealt with him. But yes, we've got HUSSEIN from Cape Mentors. So I've known him for a long time. He does some amazing work. He's going to talk to us today about the charity he works with. Well, his charity, Cape Mentors. You used to be an assistant head teacher. You came up through, I think it was the Teach First program, wasn't it? So we're going to go through that. But it is, the main thing I want to highlight is with HUSSEIN. And the reason why I've got so much respect for him, I'm going to speak directly to the camera. There's a lot of people in education doing a lot of things, making a lot of noise. They're able to leverage social media. They're able to leverage, I don't know, political, whatever. So many stuff, especially around minoritized children. And I'm going to use that word. I stole it from Patrick Cozier, yeah? So global majority, but we're minoritized in this country. I like the way he put it. But you're someone I see out there, like on the streets. You with me? Like,
sadly so.
Really, I wouldn't say sadly because
sadly it's tiring, but I mean sadly so. It has its toll. I love it, but it's tiring.
And I've got a lot of respect for you. I can be. It doesn't matter what part of London I'm in. I've seen you in North. I've seen you in South. I've seen you in East. Actually, flat foot on the street. Yeah, doing the work. No fanfare. No social media boosts, none of that stuff, and I'm kind of shading myself because I'm a bit of a social media guy, you get me? But you're actually out there doing the work, and I just want to kind of give you flowers for that and respect because I see it, and then I'll be in meetings and I'll hear your name come up, and I know the impact that you've made over the years. You've done the work, so it really is a pleasure to have you in there, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man. Respect. All right, so let's get it started. Okay, so you said you weren't born here.
No, I was born in Mogadishu.
Okay.
13th of June 1988.
Right.
My family are from Somaliland. There's a nice book on it called The Country That Doesn't Exist. I mean, it speaks a lot to the resilience of, I guess, my ancestors and the people I'm from, of a country that's gone through colonialism of Britain. So Somalia is a weird one where I'm from was ruled by Britain, and where it's recognised as a country, Somalia was ruled by Italy.
Yeah.
And I think in the 60s, where it then became unified after many years of colonization, the two groups of people now had gone through so much, actually it wasn't very compatible.
Yeah.
So then that didn't work out. And then where I'm from, wanted to be its separate place, but the world won't recognize it as that. And it's been existing. So Somaliland's been there for that for a long time since. And I think my mum's side of my family has had heavily involved in that. That's led me, I guess, to this strange world where we are now. But
and I think it's so important, and I'm glad you highlighted that because having kind of grown up in North London, like a man might say, Somalia. Nah, there's a very distinct kind of social, historical, and political difference between Somaliland and Somalia, and I'm glad you highlighted it because you can say the wrong thing to the wrong man.
Yeah.
And he takes it personally. Do you know?
And I think even within the community, some people take it. I've been here my whole life, so I don't want to, I don't know, start saying what people need to do. But even within it, some people disagree. Like, actually, it doesn't. And then some Somalis say we're all one, and there's lots of different thoughts and process around it that are beyond me. But that's the kind of thing where I'm from. My parents, Somaliland, and that was ruled by Britain. And then the bits that aren't Somaliland, and that we're like the northernmost tip, so around there.
So tell me about your kind of early experiences. So you would have come here very young.
was 4 months old. In
Okay.
2 days. I know it was my brother Ahmed's birthday when we landed. So
Oh,
October
wow.
15th, 1988, we moved
All right,
here.
so you spent the vast majority of your life.
Yeah. My mum calls me fish and chips boy. So you don't know. So I don't know, much else. I don't know anything else, in fairness.
What was your kind of early experiences in education?
I think because I'm the young, I've got 4 older brothers. 2 I moved to England with in 88. 1 was from my mum's first husband, and he lived in America. And another brother we met later on in life. So when I was younger, so I went to Gainsborough Primary School in Hackney, and that was early time. So I can't really remember too much. I remember liking it a lot. And then my brother Ali was going to Hackney Down School.
Oh, wow.
And that was chaos.
Okay, yes.
And my brother Ali was quick to put his hands up.
Okay.
And he was never someone to start trouble, but I think he wasn't having anything. So I think he was doing all sorts of stuff. And at the same time also was diabetic. So I think managing his blood sugar and whatnot. So you know anything about getting into hypo. So he'd have a lot of that. And you could see it. You could look at my brother and be like, oh no, he needs some sugar. And it would aggression would often be the thing. So my mum noticed what was going on at Hackney Down School and then said we need to move. So she rented a place up in Islington.
Okay.
So then I went to Yearbury Primary School from Gainsborough. And Ali went, I think he got bumped. He went George Orwell. That's now Arts and Media. So he just got unlucky with the schools. It's what Arts and Media is now. So he went to another school that was like another famously
notorious
underachieving one.
Yeah.
So he went there. And then we're not going to send Ahmed there. We would send him to Ackland Burley. He was in year 6. When I moved to Yearbury, I was in year 1. My brother was in year 6. Ali would have been year 11. He's gone to a new secondary school and that we just, you don't know. It's not like in that you just Google. Mum said, this one will do. So then we got into Ackland Burley School in Camden.
So your mum so your mum was very conscious, although wasn't necessarily familiar with the local school setting. She became quite active and conscious in where she's going to place.
Yeah, my mum was. She was smart enough to know, all right, boom, this isn't working. Yeah, this is where we're gonna go, and kind of moved around there. So then once we got in Ackland Burley, well, Ahmed got in there. If you got a sibling, it don't matter where you live.
Yeah, you got in.
So then we've chopped back to Hackney. It was temporary accommodation with Green for a bit actually, and then back to Hackney. So I think that's important to say in that I had like 2 different worlds. Where I went to school was just pretty much 90% white. Like in my primary school class, I remember there was a Portuguese fellow, my brethren, who was a mixture of like Bolivian, Ghanaian, Caribbean as well.
That's a mix, boy.
Another guy in the other class. I can remember who they were. There were like 60. I remember there was like
in the whole school.
3. All like I remember the younger ones. There was maybe some, but in my year there might have been about 3 or 4 black kids and whatnot. So I remember just feeling, and then when I go home, everyone was predominantly Caribbean and a few West Africans. So I kind of lived in 2 different worlds, which I think was useful in knowing how to, like, I used to call it code switching now, but just knowing, all right, boom, this is her. That I wasn't daunted if I was in an all white space, and I was comfortable in majority black spaces. Okay, which was, I think, important in, especially why I got into school later, which was touching, is that just being in there when you're around, I saw the different worlds. So how schools had to be for the rich kids versus how they could be in Hackney. Even a lot of my friends didn't even go school. A lot of people lived in Hackney, just didn't go school Hackney because at that time before. And I think also, I don't want to highlight, I'm not with all the new reforms in Hackney of how that's gone. It's kind of like, I think there'll be people will be doing PhDs on this in like 30 years of just the nonsense of
what's happened in Hackney.
Of just how we're gonna save the black kids is we're gonna just say we're gonna shout at them and yell them into submission until they become another way.
I saw a TikTok on, I know it's not exactly the wealth source of information, but it was just somebody talking about surviving Hackney schools and just the stringent, strict, draconian nature of the schools. And I'll be honest, I knew they were academized, but I didn't know how strict. And I kind of started to go through the comments of the kids, and they were like, "Nah, the schools were draconian. It's the only way to describe it." But I also want to touch on, because you said you went to school in Ackland Burley in Camden. I remember in the Carla's book, Natives.
He was when I was year 7, he was year 11.
Oh, so he was.
I bumped into him. My brethren was at some. He's an actor, so we bumped into him. I was chatting to him. Yeah, lovely fella. But I remember him. He was like them times. He was a baller. More than like. But he was also not to you like look up to the bigger ones. But I remember him being like in the top set. He took school serious.
Yeah, he was super
So in
bright.
addition, like
Yeah.
he never really. He was everyone. Oh, he's plays for West. I think it was Wimbledon or West Ham. I can't remember which one. And then it was like, oh, but then you'd see him mashing up work in school. Not like he was top set everything.
That's brilliant.
Those things there.
He spoke very similar in the same way you do about being in Camden and that switch between you can have somebody who is in your year who lives in a 1 point, 2 point house, and then you've got someone else in your year who is free school meals and so on and so forth. And Camden's are kind of funny. The fact that you were coming from like Islington, Hackney, and switching, that must have been a contrast.
Yeah, but even I was just used to it because I've been from primary school through, like it weren't so, and I knew I was different, which is why I think I'm very grateful of living in where I lived, like on the border of Islington and Hackney. So I knew I can function here, but at the same point, not even like a conscious thing, like someone told me, where I just knew their life isn't my life.
Yeah.
What was good is I knew I could keep up with them academically, and that wasn't ever a fear, but I knew I'll have a different set of rules I have to live by. And this isn't for me. So I like summer holidays, I'd be back in, all the holidays I'd be back in mine. It felt like I'd be away. Even like leaving school, I felt like I was on a commute. I'd be like, man, them, see, look, it felt like a journey from there to there every day. It was mad. That's an hour journey from year 7, even year 6. Year 6, it will be like a safeguarded thing now. Because my mum was working, I didn't live with my dad. I was travelling from Wood Green up to, like Whittington Parks where Yerbury is. By myself, I'd get a bus up Lordship, then the train from the train from Wood Green to Holloway, and then get off at Holloway and get the 43 up to Whittington Park, and then cut through Whittington Park, go to school every day by myself.
You see the thing you say it's a safeguarding issue. I think I'm too old school because when I hear about like, I had a conversation with a parent, a year 6 parent recently, and they were talking to me about schools, and I was like, boy, like, how do you feel about your child getting on a train? It's probably the best school for them to go to. It's probably a train if this train's 20 minutes. Wait, no way. I was like, what?
Yeah, different times.
You wouldn't want to hear. And the thing is that they say, oh, it's safe. I said, there's no way it's more dangerous now than it was then, because everyone's got a smartphone. There are loads of cameras around. You can track your kid now. You can put like things in their shoes. And track them. Like no one would track it. Like if we got lost, we were gone.
Yeah, having reversed call charge. Yeah. From the thing, call mum's work. Mum, I'm gonna be home late. Work must have thought it was crazy. Thinking the night, work must have got annoyed because I used to do so many reverse call charges. To my mum, like at 3:30, school's done and running around. Yeah,
for those of you who don't know what a reverse charge call is, see, we're
saying that
age,
legendary.
You'd call. Is it called
from a phone box? From a phone box, you find a phone box. And I think you'd press like you didn't have it, press something. Maybe before then you dial a number. Or you press something and you put the number you on a dial, and then that person will get a phone call saying reverse call charge from
192. You dial 192 and then call the number.
And that would get like, it would sound like an automated thing, like reverse call charge from, and they just have your name because you could say HUSSEIN. If they come, you're like, all right, what's going on? All right, son, cool.
See, I don't know. I think those things are character building.
I got nothing for it, but it's different time now, different world and whatnot.
But so when was the first point that you realised you wanted to go into education?
I think there weren't really a set time because I'd done my degree in biology at Sussex, and I didn't really know. Just even I look back on it and just felt like I think I always felt like there was something missing from school. So I could pick up what the teachers was asking me to do. More time, actually. There were a few that I say I learned in the lessons. What I do in most is, what do I need to know? All right, and then I do that myself, kind of thing, and just be not really doing as best as I could in class, but just all right, being astute enough to know, all right, this is what I need to know, and then revising properly. But what I knew was missing was just like learning from error too much. Just someone that could have broke it down for me. Like even my A-level options, I picked Spanish, drama, biology, and history.
Oh wow, it's
just like anything. I was just there doing stuff. No one, like there's no like this is red, but do it. And I think what I knew was missing there, especially how I was raised and what was going on at home, with my brothers being on me, someone would have been like, "This is what you need to do," or talk to me, tell me, because I was stubborn, I wasn't gonna listen. But someone who could be like a sounding well, actually, when you go to school, because when I did biology and I was behind because I hadn't had any chemistry or maths from GCSE time, so I'd spend time covering that. And just being like, careers. Even I didn't know anything about careers. I knew I'm gonna get a degree and then see what's going on. So first job I did recruitment for a year. Then that weren't for me, and then I did a grad scheme with a rubber stick company called Cantor. That was nice, and it was really good. So I was flourishing there, and then my dad died. I never met my dad, but I remember it just doing making me think about. You always I always say I'm gonna go fly out and see my dad at some point. Fly out, you just don't get to do it. So I was working the show. I was like, I don't really feel comfortable here, not because anything's bad, just no one looks like. I don't feel connected to this. Like, and I feel like actually what made me feel good at the job. Most people was like pressured by like we used to do like marketing. So my clients was Kellogg's and Heinz. To be like some big brand director for the whole of this, and like, this is just a person. Like I don't care. Like I'm not invested. So I had like a level of I could step back and I could deliver good because I wasn't too feeling pressured. Yeah. But then I thought this isn't what I want to do, and I always thought teaching something. So then I applied for the teacher first, and I thought now when my dad died, I've not got any. I'm still like I was like 25 at the time, 24, 25 when I applied. So I've not got any like obligations. I can take a financial hit and start again. Sorry, I just knocked this. I thought this is the time to do it. So I did it. It was like, cool. Nah, let's find something where we get to work with kids like me. And
so it was like the trigger, like your dad passing.
Yeah. Or just knowing like nothing, like do something now. Like lifetime isn't. You keep saying tomorrow. What do you want to do? Do I see myself being here forever? And I was like, I'm not gonna, like, I have to have some kind of passion. Which now I look back and I thought maybe you always damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like there was a niceness to that work of tapping in and tapping out. Like this work we do now. Yeah. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, like every day it's on my head. Like I'm thinking about it, and you know what the kids who work are going through. So that is also a curse of sometimes where you just. I look back at those times when once it was 5 hours done, I didn't have a job, but I didn't even think of anything. Just like
Okay, you decided to go down the teach first route as opposed to any other. Was there a reason why you went down the teach?
Money, man. I can't afford to. Bills to pay. Like I was living. That was So I've got very mixed feelings about teach first.
Because just to clarify, most people teach first puts you in the most. Was it like a scheme to put you in like challenging? To put you in challenging schools.
Yeah. Which is where I want to work. I won't say that was easy for me. I'd rather work in that kind of school. But they cover the cost of your PGC. Okay. And you get paid like unqualified teacher salary. So it's like if I was to do this by myself, I don't know how much it costs, like 5-10 grand for the PGCE, and I'm not earning. That's a big hit. So it's not like you're getting loads of money, but I thought I can take a hit of maybe 10 grand a year in salary, but then I know I've got this qualification, then I can try and work my way back up there. So that was literally the only reason.
So did you go to primary or secondary?
Primary, but by accident. So I went to go secondary. I applied for secondary and got offered that. And then you have to do like, this is what I've often like, I do things. Most of my life is through error. So where they've got something called a subject knowledge audit. These times I must have graduated. So I've applied at like 25 and graduated like 4 years before that. So I've not done any biology or anything. So I've done this audit thing thinking it's, so let's say I've got offered in September. I'm going to start the next September. So I don't think this thing they're asking me to fill out is like a test to see if I can teach the subject. So I've just done it like quick, maybe like half an hour. I don't know that. It might be that thinking I called it. What it will do is it will flag what I need to learn. And then between now and then I'll catch up. Done it, sent it off, get an email back saying we can't offer you secondary. Cause then I've tried to call, been like, what do you mean? I've got a degree. How can I not do? And then the typical thing of, I don't want to argue with you. This isn't I can have a disagreement with you. It's not about arguing. I'm trying to understand. This isn't. So then like, we can offer you primary. It's like, I don't want to do primary, man. These like kids, I don't deal with kids that young. I don't want to be doing this. So I left it for like a month and just thought, let me do primary. And then the best like things happen for a reason. I love it. I saw primary and loved it. I loved it, man. It's the best. I think it's helped me especially with the kids I work today, like learning that, like the basics of those fundamentals. Because I think as you get later on, it's like content but if you don't have those building blocks, I think those are some of the hardest bits to teach. Not to say secondary teaching isn't hard. That is hard for sure. I'm not trying to play into this primary versus secondary. I just think they both have unique skill sets. And I think having a solid primary education underpins that, then the other stuff can flow. Whereas I think it's hard to, as good as you could be at secondary, it's hard to then, if someone's not got that foundation, you can't build upon a weak foundation.
So did you begin to see the issues? So it's almost like you saw it in reverse, because you didn't have, how do I word this? working in primary, do you begin to really see where the issues begin or where they start? Did that give you greater insight into that?
I think so, because also I think you see a lot of optimism, because primaries are more home-like. The kids, there's a lot more like, we're going to keep this kid, if that makes sense. Like, there's a lot, it's a smaller environment. Even if you're in year 1, you might know all the teachers from year 1 to year 6. There seems like a greater acceptance that we're going to keep everybody, generally speaking. So it felt like, but you could see lots of the support that was in place that you knew wasn't going to then extend to secondary school, because it becomes a whole different world. So you could often see, all right, this kid's, we're managing to contain him here. I don't think this is going to work in secondary. And then it was quite saddening to think we're leaving someone knowing that there's some trauma, but something negative is likely to happen in the future in an environment without this level of support.
Okay. So when you went on to become an assistant head, was that at primary?
No, so I'd done my 2 years at Teach First at the primary school. And that was in school, so it was one that had got into special measures before I'd got there. And even that, with Teach First, you're not meant to go into those kind of schools. So let's get dispensation. And then I remember the lady calling me, like, this school, like, I just want to know, because if you Google it, it was mad. It was saying, like, racial attack, kids are having race wars in there. She was like, I was like, well, that's mine. These are kids. I see 10-year-old kids, like, at best, 10, 11-year-old kids. I'm not going to feel threatened in that sense. But it was a blessing, because they had a whole new staff turnaround. And it meant that when I was training, I had a sick mentor, lady called Rafina Sangralingam, who was cold. But it's like, this is what we're doing now. We're having some people I went on the course with, like, we're outstanding in school, do this. So I got a chance to go to me, like, actually, can I try that, or can I try this? And everything was kind of getting built up when I was part of it. So I feel like the opportunity to learn was great. And being a Somali person, like, I'd say in my classes, maybe about 50-60% of the kids were Somali.
Yeah?
And it was in Islington, it was like around Cali, King's Cross area.
Okay.
So I kind of knew what was going on in that area, just coincidentally. So it's like, with all this, I started off wanting to do secondary. Like, it was like a perfect storm of being able to learn how to teach, but also have that cultural competency of growing up. Like, I know that, or talking to the parents and knowing what's going on there. It was a unique situation. So I left there because you have to do 2 years. You have to, like, commit to the school. That's how I guess what the school get from taking someone on. And then when that finished, I moved to Islington's Pupil Referral Unit. And just I was a teacher there. And after the first year, I became assistant head.
Let me ask you a question. So you've done PRU, Pupil Referral Unit, and mainstream.
Yeah.
What do you think mainstream could learn from PRU and PRU could learn from mainstream?
I think what I could say PRU can learn from mainstream, I think, is often with the kind of the profile of kids that are excluded, there often becomes a thought of, let's break up and reduce the work amount. So, like, it's going to be too much. Like, the expectations can drop. Not saying all, but it's going to be like, we need to let's make this a bit. It's going to find it too difficult.
They reduce the
I think the reality is that I think the better is to keep that.
Okay.
Even if it's different subjects, but let's keep the day as long. Let's keep the rigor to the same standard. And I think the challenge is the system doesn't financially make sense for schools, for PRUs, to be able to sustain the stand, because it's just the economy of scale.
Yeah.
If you've got 1,000 kids or $3,000, or let's say what's the average now? I don't know what the standard is. Like, say it's $5,000 or something. That's a lot of money the school's getting per pupil. If you've got now 50 kids, you've got less money coming into the school, so they have to find ways to provide, and you've got less teachers, and that reduces things. So I think around the rigor and high expectations is important.
I think that's a brilliant point. I'm a firm believer in that as well. I think having worked in PRUs it's been a while now, for like the last 5 to 6 years, I think children who are once they kind of get there, they almost have low expectations of themselves. Like, I failed. For me to have been here, I've kind of failed, and it's important that they have those high expectations. No, brilliant. I agree. So you became an assistant head in the PRU. Okay, all right. And then when did you go on to form Cape Mentors? Tell us about Cape.
So, I was assistant there for a year. Not long, so I think I was at the PRU for like 2.5 years.
Okay.
So 1.5 years assistant head, and then I felt like I was getting. I think also at that point of not having kids meant you had a lot more freedom. So there were some things I didn't agree with, and I was never someone at work to be bitter. and I just felt like there was a finite capacity to what I could change here. The school the PRU I was at was another one that was going through a tough time. So when I joined, we had Ofsted like a week in.
Wow.
And then it went into requires improvement. But I think my growth within that school accelerated as there were a few lessons that were positive things. So it was me, a colleague of mine that teaches maths that I'm still in touch with. Actually one of the trustees for my charity now, and another lady that taught art. So I think we got held in. I'd been there for a week. It was a nice, like, the school with that expectation. I mean, I had a normal lesson that I think other people had veered from. When I say normal lesson, the basics of just, I think people engage and start learning objective, clear, like modelling, plenary at the end, all right, trying to make it, we got smaller kids, let's make it a bit engaging. I think I done a lesson on, if I remember, the one that got observed, testing when kids think, because I was teaching science there, about like the idea that something, because it has a greater mass, will fall quicker. So you had like a big watermelon and a peach or something, which one? I'm doing tests, all right, let's measure the time it drops and da-da-da. So something around that, and they like that. So from that, I got in good esteem and then kind of got accelerated through because that went well. But when I left just as we went through Ofsted and it went good. And I felt like it's a nice time to leave.
Good.
I'd actually handed in my notice before that, but I thought, Tessa, I'm not trying to be someone who's there just like bitter, trying to sabotage.
Yeah.
Let's leave things well. But the reason I wanted to say is there was loads of kids I thought I could work with. And you learn at PRUs, like, people just don't often know what goes on there. No, violence and stuff that happens. I mean, like, if a kid's been excluded from mainstream school for being violent, if that same incident happens at a pupil referral unit, there's nowhere for them to go after that.
Yeah.
So what can happen is this kid might then be on a time they're not allowed in the school. To have these unique times, so someone might visit them at home and have to learn like outside in the community, etc. And lots of kids, for a variety of reasons, might be like deemed not safe, or a variety of reasons might be like, you can't come in. Your behaviour's been too extreme for us to manage. We can't have you, but legally you need to be in education.
We need to provide you
and those kids, the offer that I saw we had for those was a joke. It was maybe a supply teacher turning up with some worksheets and not really knowing what they're doing. Not like a map of, all right, we're going to learn. This is our topic. This is what we're learning about. This is what we're trying to get you to. So I thought I could do something else. I didn't really have like a plan. I didn't have a business plan. Didn't have an idea. I just thought I can do better than that. My brethren had set up a children's home, and he had a few kids in his home that they might have moved from another borough, so there's a little gap to find them a school. Yeah. So he said, Huss, what if you got free time, I could commission you to do some work with these kids, because I don't want them to get out of the routine of 9 to whatever. So you can come and do a couple hours in the morning of education. That's good for the first 6 weeks until we find them a school. So then when those kids, it went well, and then one referral turned. So then we had a little gap where it's difficult. And then Hackney referred us 2 kids that was going through a lot. And I think it was because they tried everything else. And no one wants to go to a company called Cape, founded by a guy with the same first name and surname. Like, you just don't, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a selling thing. But I think with this, it was like, we've tried everything. What's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst that can happen? Yeah.
And it went well. So both of them are out of school. We got them both back in. So did their work. We're seeing them every day, able to turn up to meetings where other professionals weren't even seeing them. And that's why I was outside. Like, I was up in, they lived around, like Clapton, what's known as Square.
Yeah.
So they was around there. It was up there like 8:45 in the morning. Wow. Picking them up, cafe, mash up work, get the next one, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, do that, go to professional, you need to come to this meeting, this is what it's saying. And just that. So from that, you met social workers, right? You do this? Yeah, what else? If they're not coming to the session, cool, we're going to find you. You're meant to be here. You need to be here. And it's just that rigor that then just meant 1 referral, meant to 2, 2 to 3. And it just kind of built from there. Yeah.
Square is one of the scariest places. I'm not like shy and when I was young, you'd go to different places, but Square is one of the scariest places.
It's so secluded because you got Hackney Marshes. It's in the middle, and you don't.
It's far off the high road,
and there's no reason unless you live there to be there, because it's kind of how the geography works. So you've got behind it, the back of it's a little river, I think the little canal, and then you've got Hackney Marshes. So there's nothing where you pass through.
Nothing.
So it's very secluded. Well, it's also nice being of our age now. Well, I could go there. No one cared about me. It wasn't like I was. If I was 18,
16,
I wouldn't be strolling. Exactly. In my 30s, as a man, and no one cared about me in my early 30s, late 20s, strolling around there. It's just like, there's a guy walking around. So yeah, that's
but credit to you, because as you said, to get the work, you had to you had to go to the places and literally go in and get those people out. Okay, all right. So what does success look like for like, let's say you've got a young person. What does success look like for Cape mentors, you have a young person. What does a successful case study do?
I think it varies. We've got lots of it, but all of them come from different starting points. And I think often where we lose out, or like we're very transparent on like, what's your program? We have no program. We have no like, this is what you're gonna do, because every kid starts from a different place, so we kind of work with where they are. I guess we've got typically 3 entry points. The first one might be out of school altogether, so they have just no school,
Nothing.
and people think that there's we've got all these like new reports commissioned by people who are wealthier than me and get more funded than I do. But long before COVID, long before the stuff, there were vast numbers of children who weren't at school.
Yeah.
And no one cared.
For whatever reason.
And predominantly they look like us. And that's why no one cared. Then with COVID, I think it's become more where they've got all these new labels for them. Now it's other kids also aren't going to school. Whereas when it was just us not going to school, it was just this would have never been anything they cared. But then it become everywhere. My kid too.
Yeah.
And then we start to dig in. So I think
and we start getting labels and looking at anxiety and
which is right. I'm not against it.
But that wasn't. That wasn't. You're 100%. As you said, that wasn't happening when I saw you flat foot on the ground in 2019.
When it was Muhammad or so and so's not going to school, no one cared about like.
And that actually
mental health or whatnot. It was he's refusing.
That feeds into my next question. Is it about behaviour or is it about unmet need? But you've kind of said that before. It's about unmet needs.
I think it's a mixture of like life is we live in a really bad time. And I think often again why we lose that stuff is there's no like in the charity space, which I'm not a fan of, you kind of have to position yourself as like a magic tonic. And the world is messed up, especially now. And with it like poverty and mental health crisis and even just general health and parents who are, I've got kids now, knowing how stressful it is for me with the vast amount of support I have and how difficult I find it. If I was going through something having kids, my kids would easily go through all sorts of chaos. Yeah. No school schools can't. So it becomes like where everyone points the finger. I don't blame mainstream schools because they're not designed to deal with to fix poverty. They can't deal with that. If a kid's finding if a mum's or a dad is out and they're not working, they're finding it difficult and they can't get their kid into school. A school it's not their job to get a kid into school, so to speak. Is like there's lots of things that need to happen that often aren't happening for the kids. Unmet needs, but not just from the kid, just like society wise. Yeah. And these things filter, just trickle down, and you have lots of kids who don't have the luxuries that we often take for granted, like breakfast in the morning, consistent bed, and somewhere to sleep, knowing that my clothes are ready in the morning. Even someone showing me this how you get up in the morning, you need to go to bed, your clothes is there, laundry that's clean, all right, we're ready, you need to get this bus. There's a lot of things you just take for granted. A lot of people haven't. It's a new concept to them. Norm. It's just a way. It's not even like they're not aware to it, and you can't just. No one's gonna fix that overnight.
And this is one of the reasons, oftentimes in education, I can be quite, as a leader, as a senior leader, I can be quite harsh because I've said to members of staff, I've said, listen, let's get this straight. Yeah, I know you go home to sheets on your bed. I know you go home to sheets. Yeah. I know youths where they're not even sleeping on the bed. Yeah. But you've got sheets on your bed, so. If you have to stay half an hour to do a bit of marking, if you've got to do such and such and such and such, it's not that much of an inconvenience. You see, when you're talking about shirts ironed, breakfast in the morning, opening cupboard and seeing. So that's why sometimes with teachers, yes, we do go over and above for teachers, but let's look at the children and the circumstances in which we're dealing with. We're dealing with some.
And it's insane. I mean, as an employer now, I know that I could have staff be signed off work for a fraction of what the kids have to go through. Yeah. We expect them to turn up as children. It doesn't make much sense. I think, and it's not to blame schools. I think we're in a limbo now of everyone being like, whose job? Sometimes I mess with a social worker like, this kid wants to join a football. Like, that's fine, but it's not the school's job to. Yes. Whose job is it? And then where we're good is we'll just rather than do, we're gonna find this. But there's so many roles that are needed to be filled that everyone's kind of pointing cams out, but they're not turning up to our meeting. So who should do that? Our school, but he needs this. He needs the cams thing to get in, but they can't sleep in it. It just often the kids need someone to do something. Like you say, we're on the feet. There's no part I can write 100 emails. What has most impact is turning up and actually doing. Like you don't know how to do that. We've had some of our sessions where staff are teaching kids, I guess, I don't know, how to shave. Yeah, it's not a session we've done like this. They've said, "Oh, I need to learn that," or this is how you apply deodorant. This is when you should apply deodorant. And things pop up and you just take for granted that I guess I had 4 older brothers that would have said, "Nah, what are you doing? Don't do that."
That's becoming so much more prevalent where you can see what we would have called basic parenting. Yeah. It's not happening. Let me ask you a question. Kind of, how do you do it? So let's be honest. It must be difficult. How do you stay so motivated to keep doing what you're doing?
I think I enjoy nothing deep in front. I enjoy it.
You enjoy it, yeah?
Like I enjoy when I'm with the kids. That bit I enjoy. Like it's not even. It doesn't feel like work often.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's a. I think I have my own needs of I like directness, and the kids are transparent with you. So it's like some of the most like clear. I know where I stand. They'll tell me how they feel. There's no like passive aggressive this and that. It reminds me of my childhood. Just like I can argue, me and kid could fall out, and I know it's gonna get repaired, but there's like everything's just face on the surface, right? You know what's going on, like not on the surface, like take for face value. There's no hidden, and I love that. I love it. It's just compared to all then the other stuff I have to deal with, where it's like you can't school negotiating this or social, you're dealing with that, and it's like that. That's I think I just enjoy it. It's like very refreshing. Yeah. And I think so. Yeah. I think that's probably it. I don't think there's anything profound I got to say. I think I enjoy it, and I really enjoy the work. It's fun.
Brilliant. Kind of closing the reflection, because we have a range of people from education who will tap in and listen to this. What's the one thing you want your listeners to kind of take away from your journey and your experience? Your education experience, your personal experience with Cape Mentors, what would you kind of want to leave them with that they could go on and maybe implement or have a greater understanding in their own practice?
It's difficult. I don't feel the most profound at times. It depends on what kind of say. If it's teachers working with the kind of kids we work with, I think it'll be that point earlier where just stepping back and something that lady called Eben, great CEO, managing director of a charity works for called Milk Honeybees. 4 girls and and she said something that always stuck in my mind, like often like the things that happen that escalate are about like our egos as professionals. This kid can't talk to me that way, and so we're not that important. Like just have the behavior system follow it. If someone said something, this is the sanction for that. Not like the rigmarole that goes on, like they've done this to me and that back and forth of just stepping away from. Because the reality is kids actually don't care about you that much. They're just probably annoyed. It's not deeply about you. I'm not saying then the balance is saying, not saying let everything get away. Just follow the behavior system for that and detach any personal thing. I think would help things. I've got kids out. I don't even want to... Some young people who teachers go way above and beyond in trying to persecute and do things like it doesn't make any sense. Would be, I think, probably the one thing I'd say.
Sometimes just take your ego out of it.
Yeah, it's not that deep. Use the behavior system and leave it at that. I get kids call me all sorts. Oh, sir, you're a dickhead. You're this. Cool, I am, man. It's like, and just leave it. What are you gonna? What am I gonna do to make this kid? This is what it is. I don't know. With time, I might have a conversation, but now ain't the time. Let me be the adult. I mean, be the adult. It's not that deep. I don't need to get into something with you. And and that's what I'd say. Just be the adult and step away.
I hear you. Brilliant. Listen, HUSSEIN, it has genuinely been a pleasure coming on, because I think kind of hearing your story and hearing the side and the type of people that you work with isn't something we get great insight into. I know you're not a social media man, you're not a podcast man, so
so it's not even, it is. And last one is the space we work in. I was in the charity bit. I find it quite fickle and I don't enjoy. So it's difficult, especially the kids we're working with. So it doesn't feel nice I think you're and whatnot, but often for the work I have to be like lauding the pain my kids go through to be like I just like it's not about that. I think culture as well, like I'm Muslim, humility and is a really important thing. Do your thing,
just do your thing,
inshallah, like everything will be okay. You know what I'm saying? Like good things will come if you're doing your thing and just step back.
I hear
Where I think it's the opposite in this space, and the things that get this clamoring or gazillion pounds, and we're just locked out of it. So I find if I was to speak, I couldn't even in rooms often I don't want to be in, as I don't agree with the values of where these things are going. So I try and do the work.
Just do the work, head down.
And speak to my family and find those people like you. There's some lovely teachers I've met and professionals, and just have that I know these people well enough that I trust, and just separate myself from the
That's
rest.
why I wanted to get in you, man. I would need to get you in here because there are people, and I feel it as well. Like I think I made a post recently on social media saying about somebody. I remember in 2017, 2018, they were doing stuff around black children, SEND children. Before it was, before there was the money, before there was this. And it's important to acknowledge people like you who are doing work, as I say, on the ground. So, man, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me, man.
And we'll talk. We'll definitely. Make sure, guys, you are... if people want to contact you, they're interested in your services, they like what they heard, how do they contact you? What's the best way?
Email probably, or a website. So the website's just www.cape, like heroes Cape TM, so capetangomother.com.
Okay, cool.
Or if you want to email us, info@capetm.com.
Cool, no problem.
It's up there.
Beautiful. So if any senior leaders are watching and you've got a child where, you know what, you don't have to make that decision, cool, HUSSEIN. Let's see what we can do. But please remember, like, share, follow for more amazing content from the SLT podcast, and make sure you're subscribing. We need to get our subscriber numbers up. I need to hit a target for our subscriber numbers because we need to get those subscriber numbers up. All right, thank you for listening on another episode of the SLT podcast.